A huge shout out to the Overthinkers.
An overthinker. He watches the show.
To the Overthinkers, shout out Buffet too.
All about Fetu, this is Parker, yeah? Thank you, Overthinkers.
Keep inspiring the next generation.
Shout out to the Overthinkers, Tando Pela. Much love.
To my overthinkers, mamela ubuchopho ngeke buphume buyakhula nizinja nikhokho yazini as overthink siya overachieve.
I'm stealing that. I've stolen that one. I've stolen it.
As overthink siya overachieve. Okay. Welcome. Fun. Now we're going to have to say this whole thing again. Okay, welcome everybody to the Overthinking Football Show. My name is Mokwena. I am your host, and this, of course, is a place where we speak all things South African football, and football as a whole. And more importantly, I get to hear from you guys. It was so good. It was so good the first time round. I don't know why I had to say it again. Guys, this is a very interactive show, so there'll come a point where I'm going to open up the panels. You'll be able to jump on and talk to me live, but you'll have to speak to me on TikTok while I'm live, and you'll have to be following me in order to jump in so I can hear what you have to say about whatever we're talking about. Today's topic is very simple. We come from the first footballing weekend in a very long time in South African football. The MTN 8 came back around, and we saw two matches play this weekend where Orlando Pirates and SuperSport United met each other. Orlando Pirates coming out 3-1 victors with all Pirates players basically scoring. Olisandauri cheeky back heel, 44th minute, Vincent Pule 49th minute, Munna Pule Saleng 92nd minute, and then Evidence Mahopa rounded it all off in the 107th minute. Then we have Stellenbosch, who played TS Galaxy. On their side, they also won 3-1, even though TS Galaxy scored first by Sibilibili, and then Jaden Adams, Andre de Jong, and Fawaz Basadin managed to turn that game around for East Stellenbosch. They go through, of course, to the semi-finals of the MTN 8. We'll see next week, this week, who's going to be going through. Okay. We're going to start off with the Stellenbosch and TS Galaxy match. 14 shots from Stellenbosch, 11 from TS Galaxy, 5 on target from Stellenbosch, 4 from TS Galaxy, 52% possession for East Stellenbosch, and they had all of the other statistical categories. Now, what was great about this game, before I open up, guys, a lot of questions were being asked about East Stellenbosch. Were they going to be able to carry on that momentum that they had last year? For those who have forgotten, Stellenbosch are the Carling knockout champions. They won their first trophy as a club, and I believe it's Steve Barker's first trophy as a coach outside of promotion to the league. So this was a very big deal for them. They also managed to qualify for CAF, right? So there were many questions coming into this game and into the season about what they were going to do. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about the game because they basically dominated a lot of that exchange. What I will say before I open up, Stellenbosch are deeper. Seeing Abosanele Barnes coming off the bench, seeing the type of squad that they have, I'm actually very excited to see how Stellenbosch is going to handle this season going forward, especially when those CAF Confed games start coming along. It has been something that has derailed a lot of teams. SuperSport went through it. Skukune is about to go through it now. We've seen other teams struggle with balancing those two things. Barumo Callans getting all the way to the semis and then getting knocked out and then getting relegated. Apologies. So let's see how this is going to go. But the show is not necessarily about me. Let me open up and hear what you guys have to say. We're starting off with Stellenbosch versus TS Galaxy, and we'll take it from there. So let's see who is here. If you want to form part of the show and actually speak to me here, bottom of the screen, there's a button that says multi-guest. Click on it to request. I let you in, and we can have a conversation. As Uvelile knows, you get a little bit more time. But I know Paganela is going to want to come back a bit later. Let me go to Vuyo first. Vuyo, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
I'm good, and how are you, my brother?
I'm good. Vuyo, we're going to start with yesterday's game. What are your general thoughts about Stellenbosch versus TS Galaxy? How did you feel about the game?
They play very well. Yeah, it's what we expect to see, but the stadium shit was a mess. I think the PSL, they need to check the pitch. That pitch is not for a game.
And this is the third pitch we've seen, because we saw Toyota Stadium with Chiefs wasn't good quality. We saw Orlando Stadium with Orlando Pirates. There was a bit of an issue there. Then now we're seeing it at Danny Craven. We're not ready for this season.
OT, Orlando Pirates is a big team, bruh. Stay away. Yeah, but it's true. The stadium's not good.
Okay.
So I don't know what is the problem.
Okay, I'm going to come back. Let me go to Velile. Velile, welcome to the show. Keep on. How are you, my brother?
Hey, ngiyaphila kunjani mntakababa?
Ngimnandi mntakababa. Na igame idlalile izolo Stellenbosch TS Galaxy. Uyibona njani?
Usase ku-pre-season lapha.
Ngiyekele man, go out of office. Akusi pre-season, go out of office. Ngisasebenza ngishayi preparation.
Manje mina ngifuna ukwazi ukuthi ifike ukuthi siqale sidlale sithola ama-yellow card, bo-Brazilian bathola ama-red card, abanye abantu bahleli. Ama-Super League affectekile already thina ngama-card.
Hayi mara angithi khona ukwini cup. Angithi ngiyalithanda le cup. So thina asidlali khona akufuneki ma-yellow card lakithi.
If siyafika ku-final sidlale 4 match, and if certain players those accumulated more than 3 yellow cards kulama game already sasa-affect ama-Super League.
Yeah.
And lento yama-PSL kumele izame ukuyibhekisisa amakhadi wecup kuphela, because ake sikhona ukudlala sofika ku-final bese uma beqala affectwe amakhadi ama-player wethu are not available, abanye abantu bahleli.
Ungakhulumi ngoku-accumulate amakhadi kuphela, na-accumulate ne-trophy. But anyway, Stellenbosch still getting.
Yeah, no man. Coming to the game, Stellenbosch TS Galaxy. Angeke ngiblame mina kakhulu ama-ground wethu. Siwabonile ama-ground anjani, but also we need to take into consideration ukuthi ama-team our own stadiums. Stadiums mostly own municipalities, and of which they hire them for different activities. Sometimes the musical festival, especially Pirates, that thing. That's where the stage will be.
Yeah.
So, who knows about it? And also, maybe in March time, it's one of those things, yeah. But coming to it, I did expect it to win. And taking into consideration for me, I was from last season and we lost 20 players as compared to TS Galaxy, which got I think 4 players. Goalkeepers, some of more than I think they lost 4 players. Only that stadium is home team. So if you're going to play fast pace and use to that one is exhausting. You also see players struggling when they have to play in that ground. But coming to the gaming, I think first half was difficult.
Velile
Because
cala uyehlisa volume kancane lapho maybe ufuna ukuzwa ukuthi izoyenzani.
ngiyazwakala kahle manje.
Yeah, it's all right, it's all right.
Okay. Yes, I think the first half, both teams they were equal in terms of like attacking each other, creating space for one. There was no team that was packing the pass. They were going all out for each other. The Sundowns, the Stellenbosch players now, but they were Van Veek. That's the team. They were also coming into the party, so it was not a very technical game. No, even though at the beginning of second half or the end of first half, I'm not mistaken, it wanted to in terms of trying to be so physical, but it was an open game for both teams. That's why we even managed to see the goals that have been scored. The teams were attacking each other. There was no cutting the pass. They just open for each other. So it was a good game. And the first game of the season, if you are a team like it takes Galaxy losing players, surely you are bound to suffer. Maybe they will recover in time coming on. Also, maybe no coach, akasayanga le ku-sunshine.
Yeah.
So mhlawumbe naye imkhathazile. But yona nje igame no, it was a beautiful game.
Do you expect too much from ETS Galaxy? Because I hear we speak team and they play football, but still like UEFA Pro. Mara on the field and in the standings, man, do you expect too much from this team?
No, man, that's the thing with ETS Galaxy. They are the hype men. They hype their team in such a way that you will believe they've arrived or that they're one of the best. But mangabe a big season kahle abakafiki ncam kodwa amaXhosa ncam lapho ukuthi impela kudento abafiki no. They're just hype men. You've got the chairman who's the hype man and the coach whom you'll know ukuthi each and every press conference amela khulume. He will detail so many things. They're not blaming but on the field of play. And what they did last season was to play their best football when they're playing against the big team. And you could see what other small teams they were getting suffering. Polokwane City. So they're just being the hype team, of which it's good for what they just build and boost their profile because everyone will look for them. If you hope they will do better because of what they are saying outside the pitch. But on the field, no. Unless if they're gonna go into the market and reinforce that team, maybe with 4 or 5 players, good players. Maybe we'll talk about something. But
okay. I'm gonna come back. Let me bring in Upeko. Upeko, welcome to the show. How are you?
So, T.
Mnandi Peko.
Yeah, the writings are not.
Man, you're right. Stellenbosch versus TS Galaxy. How was the game for you? What in chat?
Yeah, T. Ben Linder is Stellenbosch was a winner the game. Even though I'm not a fan of even the Labazaranga.
Okay.
Look, from equality, I was Stellenbosch. I knew Babas I overcome ITS Galaxy. Because it's all about equality with Stellenbosch.
Yeah.
It was not a nice game to watch. It was just a game to grind the results. Yeah.
So then, Peko, you said something about not liking the way Stellenbosch plays. What don't you like about the way they play?
They don't share the ball mostly, just to root one football. I'm not a fan of that kind of football. Just finding the man on the channel. Then, if you don't deal with those balls, but a punish to Stellenbosch. So I don't like it. But for Stellenbosch, yes, if they stick to their game plan, benze ngendlela kwaye badlala according to identity yabo, style of play sabo. Hayi, they are going to punish you on the day. Yeah, so it was not a nice game for me to watch.
Okay. Let me go to let me go back to the
And one last thing is, you really see the complaint on the pitch. I know something that when the excuses, but to right in a point about Dramovic. You cannot allow a knockout game now. Idlale kwi-pitch enjeya. Conditions are pitch wasn't your grant for a cup of that caliber.
Okay, I'm gonna come back
So
because
I'm
you made
improve the stadiums.
you made an interesting point. I'm gonna come back. Let me go to Velidem. Can Stellenbosch keep this up? Because this was a very pound for pound game about the TS Galaxy. Can they do this for a season, knowing that Pasago Africa, knowing that they're still going to play 3 trophies, they're still going to play 30 games with Petwe Prem? What do you think of this Stellenbosch team, Guyapambi? Do you think they're going to be good this season?
I think they're gonna be good Betway premiership.
Okay.
On other games, I don't think so, because if Motsepe, they'll be disadvantaged to CAF because they won't be using it in the crevice, which means you're better by a Cape Town Stadium or by a Athlone. And if you have looked at the games that they've played on those stadiums, those games they will favor them, and their strength actually it's on that pitch. It's like Ivet's. Remember Ivet's University when it plays at Emil Park?
Yeah.
That pitch, it was only them who understand it with how to play there. Teams are struggling to play on that pitch. So and also I think like on the book careful and the PSL and also on Google M8 and other cups, they will still need another reinforcement in that team. But that's a short because if you look at Bona, majority of those players, like the first team, are the players that plays also most of the game last season. So if they'll be able to sustain it for this season again, they're working a corner with 100% of the players that they were using last term. Surely somewhere they will lose the form. I don't even see them even on this one MT8. If they were to meet Pirates or Sundowns, I think they're gonna be out. Why I'm saying so, I'm talking about the quality. If it checks Galaxy, if you've watched the first half, it checks Galaxy managed to pass through their defense with ease. It's just that the quality of attack it takes Galaxy is not as the quality of Pirates and Sundowns. So with that quality already, they'll be out of this cup. Then it's back to drawing board for them, but they'll still need to reinforce the team. I don't think they are yet balanced yet. It's not they'll suffer as like the same Galanzi did. If you're gonna start the season with 30 players, Lapo was is a disaster.
Yeah.
You cannot. And especially for the Mangabe, if it's the group stage, and you'll find out to go to my fixtures about so if you're gonna travel to North Africa mostly. That's where it's gonna probably start. There will be a lot of traveling there. So we know since Narcissa South, we are at a disadvantage in terms of like traveling, and not most of the team that go through to the second round from the southern region. So they will still need to reinforce the team.
So private jet ga Rupert is not going to help anything, lab.
Rupert akasikhathi sokudlala. Uzela imali la.
Uzobaboleka.
Hayi, Rupert the capitalist. Akadlali kanjalo.
Okay, let me go to Peko. Stellenbosch, how do you see them faring this season? What are they going to do? Because the first time they're going into Africa, they're going to be playing 3 tournaments locally on top of the league. where do you think Stellenbosch is going to finish this year, and how do you think they're going to turn out this season?
Yeah. The morning had to know bazawuphela ku-top 5. I think bazawuphela ku-top 5, but equality banayo yona. We have Africa. I'm not sure Africa because I think Stellenbosch, the way this going on, it's a very young team. I think because of Nego Steve Barker, I mix the young boys and experience. If you wanna conquer the Africa championship.
Is Barker under pressure? Because is Barker under pressure this season? Because he's been a coach for a very long time. He's had Stellenbosch. I think he's coached over 200 games for Stellenbosch. Are we expecting something? Is there pressure that he needs to go win something else or do well, a confed or Zamiega for the season?
I think he's not under pressure, but just that the expectations are very high. Because he won something last season in the top 3. So obviously, but in the league cup, one I think one cup, he has to deliver.
Okay.
Then we'll know some position, but I think he's safe. He's not under pressure. But at least I'm maintaining the level. Ahlale ku top 5. I win something. At least Africa. No uphume ku-semis or quarterfinals at least. I go to fine. Because I think it's the first time I see Africa.
Khona abanye that got to the semi-finals and got relegated. But that's Nicola. But let me go to Black Viper. Black Viper, welcome to the show. How are you, my brother?
I'm good, my man.
Tell me, firstly, what are your general thoughts about Stellenbosch and TS Galaxy?
My man, I don't know much about Stellenbosch. Only just watch him play a few games last season, and based on what I've seen, the league turned out like they did really do something very, very, very special. Like no one would have thought that they would be in that top 3. They even give Pirates like a tough time. So according to me, I see them going to the CAF, play somewhere around semi-finals, and then on the domestic league, they'll finish still in the top 5. So I'm giving them the thumbs up that Coach Barker is not going to be on that much pressure.
But we've seen teams when they go into Africa. You know, you have to play the Africa games, the CAF Confed games, you have to play Carling, MTN8 and Nedbank Cup and the league. Is Barker experienced enough with that to be able to at least to try get that top 5, as you say?
To be honest with you, we tend to like underestimate these young teams at times at best. So these teams could surprise us this coming season. So that's why I'm saying that we could see something new that we haven't actually seen these other young teams do these past few seasons, that we really needed competition. That I'm thinking that these guys are going to bring a new fresh up competition. They're going to bring out something that we've been asking for these past few seasons from the likes of Kaizer Chiefs, Rondo Pirates, Supersport United. So I really would give them that much of benefit of the doubt that they will deliver something.
So is Chiefs in that top 5 for you? Number 4, number 3?
Yeah. I'm
really?
putting them in the top 5 this end of the season. Yeah, I'm putting them. I'm giving their coach something to think about here.
Okay. But I'm gonna come back. Let me bring in Ash. Ash, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, my brother. And how are you?
I'm good. Tell me, Stellenbosch, TS Galaxy, what did you take away from this game?
It was a technical game on the look of things, but the problem is that side, what's the surname for the
Ramovic.
TS Galaxy coach? Yes. This season, I don't think he has a plan for like to win matches because the moment when they scored the goal, they didn't look sharp enough to win like the match. But Stellenbosch, like the Baka, it runs in the family. You can see that like it's from the uncle or the grandfather. They have that mentality to finish off the game. So even like the DDC team, the way they won the title last season.
Yeah.
You can see like there's like transition from the young team to like the top team. So I think they are posing a threat to these so-called big teams. But like there's a surprise that is coming. I think they are going to challenge for CAF, if not like the other championship.
Okay. I wanna jump in there. Velile. Stellenbosch DDC team just won the Next Gen Cup. They beat up Crystal Palace and those type of teams. Tell me, what do they get right? Stellenbosch get development yabo the first team, because we see a lot of players coming in from the development from the DDC. And they're one of the few teams that get it right. What do they do right, Ngale, Stellenbosch?
I think it goes hand in hand with what we've been seeing before, Dala. If you look at Cape Town, previous, remember, Ajax Cape Town. I think they've got a good group of players, mostly talents from that side, if you can say so, of which they tend to struggle if they come to Johannesburg. But it shows maybe they're using some. I'm not quite sure who is in charge in terms of development, but we've seen this trend of development when they are called. Because we look at even in Town City, they are trying though, but they didn't master it. But Stellenbosch, they've mastered it because I think the DDC they bangabi phezulu, of which they didn't emphasize on winning. They were just playing normal. Because that's the aim of the development. You don't need to win that thing. You need to make sure that you teach those players that are the basic principles of football, of what the structure, purpose, the team that you expect from them. Not most about winning, because some of them but so it shows within the space of 5 years. In the last 2 years, that's where they started like to pick up and starting to do great. Even my one and Sundowns, even before previous, they didn't win this thing. They were just playing and what to test to see the players. The emphasis should be on development, not about the result will just come automatically or as a bonus, but the emphasis on that thing is not about it. So that's the development of the players. Introduce your players to the system that want to play, make sure the players get game time. And because the more the players get game time, the more they develop. You can be coach and say, okay, this way you fix your mistakes, they play. Yeah. So I think that's how there's been of them. And also with the coach or then from the promotion, the members to back. So he's been there, and I think he's involved with him also in that team. Decision that they take, and of which, as I've said, for Lucy Parker, it's one of the safest coaches. PSF, there's no way.
Okay. Well, before I go to Peko, what I can say is that the one advantage that Stellenbosch has in terms of development that a lot of teams don't have is that the development coach, the guy who's coaching the DDC right now, Evangelos, or they used to call him Van. Him, the assistant coach Wesley, and Barker have been together since Amatax.
Yeah.
So they know it, so they know each other back at, yes, they understand everything. It also helps, that Steve Barker used to coach at Tax, and there's a very heavy development thing there. So Uven was the head of that development, if I'm not mistaken, or one of the top guys at the time. So, but and they've brought it into Stellenbosch, which gives them a little bit of an advantage.
And I also think like on the environment there in Cape Town and with that side yesterday, there isn't so much things there that they can distract most of the players that are there. Each time you find yourself there, you know what your seven are. There isn't much. Yeah, it's about professionalism. You train. It's how you conduct yourself. So yeah,
But then before I move on, Benile, noise. How much does noise play into this? Because if you're a youngster, ongena Pirates, ongena Chiefs, ongena Sundowns right now, if you're a DDC player who's just been promoted, we've seen it in Gabom Do, we've seen it in Gabom Fundo now, and a bunch of others. How much does that play into it, Guti? You know, Stellenbosch, Coach Wako is not a noise about him. Yes, Stevenzela, now yes, Stevenzela. Nobody's making a noise. How much does that play into this?
But in that way, because you know who you can government, accept government to achieve the good rate. That's why it also the culture of club, the culture of football, especially with different clubs now. So achieve the target with Sundowns. We know how they play football. There is a certain expectation from you. This is how you play football, and this is how this team plays. As compared to Lava, some of them was the most now. They don't even know who to play with Stellenbosch. So here already under pressure is a super. Because who did the city make Paris or who Chiefs. So Sugi looks in because the more we get we are trying to that's why if you see this team, number plan not Vela understand the culture of that location. We are going to tell us the super there, but but there ngabona sesigamleni man la kulapho ufunde khona ngibona ngathi ule essentially on Stellenbosch
Ikaslami Centurion.
Yeah, so you and you there's a certain way but you must behave this way
Okay.
That time kuwesona ufundela ukushila olethe isukile uyazi uyazidala wena ngale sigambleni you have been told you must be professional bese ubongani khumani angeke lo
Sekele man, sekele. Let me bring you Peko. What's happening there in the Western Cape, man? Development. What do they have in their water that's making the development so strong?
I don't have a background in the Stellenbosch. But in the time in the 11th, the transition from the DTC to the senior team is very good.
Yeah.
I just hope what the DTC team coach is doing is also what the senior team is doing, like in terms of how they play, all the stuff. You know? And young because other teams should learn from Stellenbosch. Because I can see now other teams don't want to sell us players. If you're gonna promote players and then they sit on the bench, because Stellenbosch, they promote these boys, and these boys they play, they deliver these boys.
Okay.
So I think what they do in the DDC team, the coach, is also what they do in the senior team.
Okay. Peko,
So,
let me bring in Black Viper. Black Viper, what are they doing that side with development that's making them stand out? At the very least, you can see there's a pipeline.
From the very least, what I can see that these guys are creating players that can deal with transitional attacks, aerial footballing, and football tactics. Now, from the very last season when Pirates were playing Stellenbosch, you could see that they were winning too much of the aerial balls, that Pirates were not even contesting even once.
Yeah.
Now, another thing is that these people were overrunning the entire field. It's like they were running on engines of V12 or V16, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So these guys at their camps, that they're not dealing with people who can do the dribbling. They're just doing basic footballing. Yeah. So they're teaching the players on how to play, trap, pass, run, header football, and put it in the back of the net.
Do you think as South Africans were ready to accept that football?
I think that at this point that they must. They have no choice now. They must accept this kind of football. Because if you don't accept this kind of football, how else are we going to be getting results? We haven't been getting results for the last 14 years as a South African football. So they need these kinds of players that have been helping. And even so at the AFCONs, some of the players from Stellenbosch were doing really, really good.
Yeah.
So this kind of development football is something that we will need very dearly.
Okay.
So yes, I'm thinking that they're doing a good job at Stellenbosch development.
Ash, I want to go to Ash. Ash, you brought this up. What does Stellenbosch do development-wise that's better than what's happening elsewhere in the PSL?
In the current moment, as we can see, the way you referred to it, that the coaches were together for like a long time. So if I recall well, Steve Barker was at
Amatax.
Was that UP Amatax for 6 years. So you can see like the bond is too like powerful. So they know how to build this like young kids, or like let's not say young kids, but like footballers, up and coming. So you can even like I think there's a Panther here spoke about like we would say they build them from like the early stages, and then buyers would to
yeah.
Not specifically like playing our own Kasi style football doesn't win games. It wins games, but like at the current moment, we are not moving forward with this like soccer that we are playing. We know that like as supporters, we are paying money to go to stadiums and then watch football entertainment. But sometimes the hit comes down to like the coach. If the coach doesn't win anything, then it's useless to play that football that like will please the supporters. So Steve Barker like has a formula. I don't understand why doesn't he win anything major, but like the combination that he has, it's too powerful. If you can check, maybe not to waste many time, if you can check maybe under 18 and then development coaches. The other one I think was head of Hellenic Youth, and then when you can check like they coached a lot of teams. And then the other one is, I think, is Jean Pure. He has like a CAF B coaching like license. So those things come in handy. I'm not saying like the previous players are disadvantaged, but you need to have like this coaching mentality, not a playing mentality, for you to like succeed in some things. Because the way you are playing is not the way the coach will coach. So you want players to play the way you used to play. That's not how it works. That's why they say we have to have CAF licenses or like licenses to coach, because it teaches you something going further.
Okay. Let me go to Agent. Agent, my brother, welcome to the show. How are you? No, I'm good. Agent, general thoughts about the Stellenbosch game, and then what do they do, man? There in the Western Cape, what's the water like, or is it the wine that's making the development so good?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to pop by, even though busy, man. It's a busy day, so that, you know, those artists don't say that when they don't come on the show. But anyways, I think it's attributed to three things. First thing is okay, let me do this. Okay, thank you. I think for me, the first thing is university sports or university clubs like Stellenbosch and University of Pretoria and others generally have the ability and a good academies, because they have dedicated people who are just solely focused on those academies on all the levels, you know, and it's very easy to implement strategies on all fronts, you know. And the good thing is there's a natural progression from under whatever's to the team, you know. Unlike you know, teams like Supersport, you know, or Safa Excellence, School of Excellence, where after a certain age you have to go for another team, you know. So with universities, it helps to have that continuity from all the ranks until professional football. So I think that's the first thing. And again, the good thing about Stellis is, yes, the academy is good, but because of, I wouldn't say lack of pressure, but for lack of a better word, lack of pressure, like unlike the so-called big three of winning titles, of winning everything, they're just fine. Then for the relegation, there's nothing to worry about, you know. They're always comfortably within the top 8. They don't always have to tussle to get into the top 8. So that allows that ease of youngsters into the first team and them to get the necessary experience. And I think that helps, you know. Because I think the problem sometimes with youngsters is they get killed by expectations, and they get killed by the stress of being in a professional setup where mistakes can be a difference between a team winning the league or a team getting relegated, you know, a team being a top 8, which is a huge sums of money. So I think Stellenbosch has that going for them, you know. And lastly, I think for them, another thing which is very good about them is I think 2017 or 16, one of the two years, if I'm not mistaken, they came up with a program called something about high performance, something. It's a very fancy name, but essentially is they go around scouting, they do hold trials at times, but don't necessarily, and then they the under 12, under 15, and all those development sides, like a professional setup where they analyze what you eat, and all the biometrics of the first team that you have, you know, so that there's no a huge jump off when you go to the first team, when you see a masseuse, when you see a biokinetics, you see all those kind of things in the first team. You're already exposed to such kind of things and the so-called small increments that you look at for in football. So I think it's a good strategy. Yeah.
I think just to add on before we move on to the Pirates game, just to add on, I think I always look at the structure of things. So the fact that Stellenbosch as Agent is saying, the fact that Stellenbosch has partnered with Stellenbosch University under that Stellenbosch Academy of Sports means that they have a high performance center, they have a stadium, they have all of these different things that a lot of teams in the country don't have, right? And the difference between normal teams and university sports is that those guys have to develop. So Amatax has to develop players. That's part of how they make their money. That's part of what gives their programs, gets programs money. So they're involved in those things. And when you have a guy like Steve Barker, who was there for 6 years, I believe somebody said here, whose staff has been with him ever since when pre-Amatax getting promoted back then. They've been with him the whole time. So they've got an understanding of the style of play. They've got an understanding of what each other wants. They've got an understanding of, the through line. If you look at the other teams, if you look at the Chiefs, for example, I'm just going to use Chiefs as an example, guys. I'm sorry for those in the comments. Nabi is the first team coach right now. Atazwane, I believe, is going to be one of the heads of academy, right? How do those people communicate with each other to say that, okay, the players that I put here are going to be ready to play for me here, that I know the standards and all of that? Steve Barker literally has a guy that has been with him for more than 10 years doing that job. So they understand each other backwards and forwards. And that's how you see those players starting to come through. Gavin Hunt speaks about his team and the DDC coaches and all of those guys and the role that they play in making sure that the DDC players are ready to get into the Supersport team when he calls upon them, right? So it's a very interesting chat, but let's get back to the review. We're going to go on to the Pirates game. So Pirates played East Supersport United versus Gavin Hunt. They won 3-1. In terms of the stats of the game, Pirates had 19 shots, as well as Supersport having 19. Difference is that Pirates had 9 on target and Supersport had 3 on target. For possession, Pirates had 63% possession, so the lion's share of the possession, and they managed to win that game that went into extra time. Gavin Hunt got a red card in that game. So I'm going to start off with Black Viper. Black Viper, how did you feel about the game, Pirates versus Supersport?
I've got to be honest with you here. Pirates got away with this one. They're extremely lucky to get away with this one. I'm a Pirates fan, but I have to say the truth that they escaped. The referee made 2 crucial mistakes on that game. The penalty appeal. 2, there was a bit of a scuffle there. I don't know what happened between Gavin Hunt and the rest of the technical team. Did he say something that was not good? Then he was red carded, and then the Pirates players began to take advantage of these things that happened on the pitch, that their players were not having much of to deal with Masangwani.
Okay.
When they're dribbling around, some players were not happy about it. They started tackling him. He was falling off easily. He was taking advantage of the referee's decision on him. So what really hurt Supersport is that these Pirates guys, they came up with the plan that Supersport is good on aerial balls. So we need to eliminate this kind of football playing that way. Remember now that Pirates were under enormous amounts of pressure on the first 20 minutes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So what they did is that they need to get out of that situation very quickly, which allowed them to get a breather when Masangwani decided to, guys, we need to get these guys out of our chest. So we need to do something that, like guys, let us play our football. Let us not play their football.
Yeah.
So that's when he started frustrating everyone, dribbling around, showboating, and then everyone becomes agitated. They're not playing their normal football. And then Pirates players started injuring these key players for Supersport. As you can see, Khobla went out. I don't know who went out also, because he was one of the key players that made Khobla and Ule to play very well, which ended up in the goal that equalized.
Okay.
So Pirates for me, they didn't play this game very fairly. Yes, they did score. They did create chances to score, but they didn't play fair.
Okay.
And the referee mistakes like made them to win this game.
Okay. No. Got a meeting. Malome Kuts, I'm gonna give you a minute since you have to go. If you can jump in, what do you think of the Pirates game that you guys played?
Yeah,
Welcome.
Mr. Uti, I hope umnandi. I hope wakamapaka jabulile thina member weSAFA. We are happy ngemisebenzi akaRiver. There is no way ngingasitshela ukuthi Pirates gonna win it. Ngathi supersport beyishisa. Bakorela ngenhlanhla la ngizositshela ukuthi Pirates gonna win with it. Ngiboja ama carrots. Bakerford. I'm happy with Tito doing his thing. Showing people ukuthi sometimes we really depend on the outcome.
Yeah.
We will pretend as if we are philosophical, we believe in a certain way of playing, but when the outcome is good, you will see which one really don't care. Like you asked this over 1,000 times, which he had that cross went in. Gubin Sabuza Namanj. So because Tito did it and we won 3-1, no one is complaining. It's seen as encouraging the guys to get into the game. You know what I mean? So Mchabilo, but I would have loved to express myself properly, but in squeezing it.
No stress, no stress. Thank you very much. So let me go to Ash. Ash, Pirates 3-1 versus Supersport. How did you feel about that game?
Overall performance was fine. The game was entertaining for an opener of the season because we've been waiting for football for so long. Being a Sundowns fan, I have to judge football as football. Both teams played,
yeah,
but the attitude of some players for the Pirate side, it was off key. But as they say, football, it's a contact sport, and it's you have to use tactics to win it. So if you don't use tactics, then you won't win it. But as Black Viper has said, if it's not really, but I think he said after Gavin Hunt got sent off, then they saw that the players of Supersport are agitated. Then they will create mistakes because they were still appealing for those ball to the hands, the so-called ball to the hands. We don't know. We are still waiting for the panel of referees. But football was entertaining. Then, as the saying goes, the better team won. But refereeing for us, it's killing us. Now we are still waiting for SAFA or PSL to pass that VAR thing.
Then it's not coming anytime soon. It's not coming anytime soon.
I heard the outgoing president, John Daney, saying that not anytime soon. But if my prayers are correct and my words come to pass, then the former president will leave us in jeopardy because many things we are being left behind. Even the goal line technology is not there.
Yeah.
Then the assistant, you can't retire a professional referee and then don't teach referees how to manage a professional soccer match.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even we had best referees and linesmen, but now it's lacks just performance. But we have to deal with it. Swallow the bitter pill.
Okay. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back because I do want to speak about referees in this one. So I'm gonna come back. Let me Let me see. Let me bring in Vuyo. Vuyo, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
I'm good, and how are you?
I'm good. Tell me, Vuyo, about the Pirates and Supersport game. What are your general thoughts about that game?
Leya game bemnandi okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but ngiyafila somehow. I-Supersport angithi isabuild i-team yayo.
Okay.
So it's for the first time badlala. So yeah, badlale kahle kakhulu. Badlale kahle for mina. But ngiyakhala nge-referee. Hey, loya usupport i-Pirates uthi. Loya be man of the match uthi for mina.
Okay.
Ama-foul serious awaboni.
Yeah.
So I understand, but not for only for Orlando Pirates. For the PSL nje, because abongile Tom ureferee uthembakalayo. So ngiyakutshela lo ukuthi hayi kukude phambili.
Okay.
Because
Let me bring
uthi mina ngajabula. Uthi ngibenefitile. Kusasa kuzodliswa mina.
Okay. I'm gonna come back because I want to speak about the refs also. Stanley, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hey, Joshua Don.
But I'm good. Tell me, Pirates Supersport. What are your thoughts about that game?
Antoine, I felt good that game started. I-Supersport iqala yagrand mfana. With the Pirates making our mistakes, especially umonyane mfana. I didn't want to unama mistakes. But as igame iqhubeka ulokhuzana intwana le uMasangwane qalile wenza into zakhe lapha and then wayihlanganisa i-team and waqala wabona ukuthi iPirates isigaina that dominance.
Yeah.
And kahle uyena ubuyisela iPirates egamini. Yeah. And emva kwalokho-ke izinto za-improve-ke even abomofokeng nabo Saleng babuyele egamini. But-ke i-team njenge-Supersport, you'll never write them off even if you dominate. You bahlezi benaleyo element ukuthi bazokusurprise. Yeah, but yeah, with the kodwa mangibuka nje igame yonke I felt ukuthi Pirates they were dominant and they deserved ukuthi bawine.
Okay.
Mangibuka ama-chances abawacreatile, mangibuka no dominance lokhuzeni eswing midfield. Yeah, I felt ukuthi they really deserve ukuthi bawine.
Okay.
Even le game ukuthi iziye ku-extra time, I think uGos did very well. Uma ukuthi game justice iyenzeka, iPirates they deserve ukuthi bawine.
Let me bring in Tagati. Welcome to the show. How are you? Tagati.
Evening.
Hi, man. I'm good. Yo, network. Tell me, Tagati, how did you see this game? How did you feel about this game, Pirates versus Supersport?
You know what, my brother? I don't think there's much to read about into that game, because when you look at the Supersport, it's a fairly new team because we know SuperSport is a team that produces players. There were a lot of players from the DDC. So I can't say much about SuperSport because I think they fairly played well. The mere fact that they drag it to the extra time.
Marapule's experience, Krobler's experience, Tlatwa's experience, Machman experience, Jugaman's experience. Are we gonna call them a new team?
Yeah, we know they lose players every season. For me, I think they always try to build up every season. They try to build up. We all know that. But as for my friends Baganias there, no, I don't know what they play in there.
Yeah.
Because look at it like this. You have got a player who is playing number 4 or 5, Odisanda. That guy is the last line of defense, but he's a playmaker. I don't know. And there were a lot of balls that were cut by Magaman and I think Krobler and even Pule as well.
Yeah.
They are very casual. Ndai as well as Sasani, very casual defense. They remind me of my defender Mvala, the way he cost us sometimes. So, and when they've got the ball, how do you expect Ndai to be the playmaker? Well, he's the defender. He's the last line of defender. I'm not even surprised that he scored, even though it was a set piece.
Yeah.
Mbata, Mbata, for me, he wasn't dropping to collect the ball. So it's either they're gonna try to play from a long ball. A long ball is not guaranteed to reach the destination. It's either gonna be fall to a defender and everything. Okay, I'm happy they won. Of course, we need them in the semi-final, or we might need them in the final. But whatever they're playing at the moment, I'm not convinced. A win is a win at the end of the day, but the play, no man, I'm not.
I like that point. Before I go to Black Viper, I like that point. Okay, guys, this is what I always say about Orlando Pirates, and I was thinking about Pirates last season. There's 2 Pirates teams. If we're being honest, there's 2 Pirates teams. There's a team that has Koki and CBC as center backs. Then they have Golden Manare in the middle. When it's that team, they progress it up the middle. Rondo drops back, gets the ball from Chaine. He's the guy that plays the ball up. That's how the ball plays. There's another team where you have your Makaulas and your Tims in the midfield. Then you have Nda on the pitch, who then becomes the playmaker. And when Nda becomes the playmaker, he's looking for one of 2 balls. It's either wide left or wide right. Long ball left or long ball right. And when he plays that role, you kind of lose Tito for a little bit. You kind of lose some of that midfield. Talet Mbata was nowhere to be seen in that midfield during that game. But then also you put your attackers under a lot of pressure, especially versus teams that are sitting back. My one question from the game was that, in the league, that game is a 1-1. In the league, SuperSport shuts up shop, and then they see out the 90 minutes, they take their point from Orlando, and they go home. And those are the games, those are the games that are going to be very important for Pirates if they want to do well in the league, and if, like people are saying, they want to win the league. What's going to be very important is that can you take a random game on a Tuesday versus Polokwane City? That is not a cup game. That is not a derby. That is not a game versus Sundowns. That is not the last few games in the league when you're trying to get some points to try to get number 2. Those boring games are the ones where Pirates are going to have to play. And one thing they're going to have to figure out as the Pirates is, how do we attack? Urile was out of the game. Urile. Mabasa was out of the game. Saleng is being pulled back and being played into sort of a false 9, number 10 type role. He comes centrally a lot. I think Pirates needs to figure out what they want to do, or else we'll sit with another situation where they start slow. And when they start slow, by the time they catch fire, it's too late. A team needs to play in different ways, so don't confuse yourself, says Upumuto. Pumuto, a team needs to win, firstly. Consistently win, firstly. Then you can start looking at number 2 and number 3 and that way and that way and another way and another way. What kills Pirates, like I said, they played one team first half of the season, and then they only brought in the second team the other time, sure, because of injuries, but you could tell the difference. So that's what I'm trying to say here. Black Viper, tell me about Pirates and the way that they play and the way that they attack. Are you convinced that this can be a consistent team this season?
To be honest with you, no, I am not convinced that this is going to be a team that's going to be challenging for the league this season. You're going to have these kinds of players, like experienced players, know that what the team needs, know that how they're supposed to play, know the tactics already. The coach has been there with what, over 2 seasons already. This is our 3rd season now. So if they're going to start a season like this, it's not going to be any different than how they play on the last season. We're going to be getting a repeat of last season. If they're lucky, we're going to be getting a plus minus 10 points, a gap from Sundowns. So I'm not entirely convinced that they will be doing any better because it's going to be playing like this. Because you can't start the league. You can't start the league with making mistakes like that, especially in the opening stages of the game. No, you're not supposed to be making mistakes like that. You're playing too casually for once, and you're not taking the game seriously because now it's a cup game. You have to do something that elevates everyone, impresses the coach. So for me, it's a no.
What should Jose do? What do you think could be something? And to be fair to Pirates, it's the first game of the season, so I don't want to be too harsh unnecessarily. But what can Jose do to fix some of the issues that he has there?
I think for one that he was trying to experiment with, because he had Oki not in the game. Whether he is injured or not, I'm not entirely sure, but we'll get to that very soon. He was trying to experiment with the kind of players that he has, because you could see that Nda is not a player that wants to play on that deep. Because we've never seen him play in that way. And then he's very good at connecting with other players, forward players that could make chances for them to score. So the position that he was playing on Saturday game, it was not the kind of position that he should be getting. And we've seen Hoto not playing very well because he was costing the game. So I think that Rivero should start reshuffling that backline players. Every that he was playing with, he should start reshuffling.
Okay, let me go to Ash. Ash, what do you think of Pirates' play in general, the way that they attack and things like that? How do you feel about Orlando Pirates going into the season? Do you think they can be one of the people that end the season on a high, maybe win a league?
For the league, we can just put it aside because we know them as like the so-called cup specialist. But as you were saying, not to take away anything from them, but they have like 2 teams and it depends on who they are playing. If you can check, if they are playing Sundowns, Saling can maybe be benched for 5 games. But on the day they play Sundowns, Saling will be available.
Yeah.
So like Jose plans those kind of games like that because I noticed those things about him. So he is tactical, and sometimes the tactical awareness of him might be a problem because sometimes he doesn't read the game fast enough to check if this is the right person that I've just put on the starting lineup. But going forward, I think they can just still be number 2, if not number 3. But top of the log, it's reserved for like still the defending champions. So they are reserved for number 2. But like going forward, I think they can do better. And they can surprise us and be in the finals of the MTN 8. But like one thing that I wanted to raise, it's he doesn't put like natural players on those positions because Hoto has been excelling. It's fine. I understand he's been excelling at the left back. But guys, Maela is there like as a captain. Then why don't you try him out? It's the first game of the season. Then you are maybe in the extra time, you're 3-1 up or 2-1 up. Just try him, give him like that chance. Because I don't think Maela has ever like done a mistake. Since maybe that own goal. But he's been like maybe playing. So for a captain to be like outside, it shows that like the starting lineup is not consistent. Because you can just replace Nda with Kogi or Sibisi. But like Yombata is there. That's the cream of South Africa. Even if like I don't support like Pirates, but like he's a player that we can build around going to like the national team. So those others, like the other ones, yeah, I don't think they're consistent by the center backs. He doesn't know which like player to play there. But let's see them how they progress.
Okay. Let me go.
Yeah.
Let me go to Buya just for
Lucas Morib.
For time's sake. Let me go to Buya. Buya, tell me about Pirates and the way that they play. How do you feel about Pirates' play from the game we saw? Now, taking into account it's the first game, they could change everything going forward. But from that game, how did you feel about Pirates and the way they played?
Nothing much, Brian. But they are still playing similar like last season. It's just that now teams are away of Orlando Pirates. So look at the plan of Supersport's planning. Not allowing Orlando Pirates to build from the back. Supersport almost got 2 chances beginning of the game. Not that they are creating or anything. Just a silly mistakes of you trying to pass the ball at the back. So I think teams are away, OT, and so ngizobona ukuthi this season will be like last season. Khohlwa Brian, this season ama-team azimisele kakhulu. Azimisele ama-teams sizobukela ibhola.
Do you think the Champions League might affect Pirates? How will Jose handle the Champions League being in the mix this year?
Please, Brian, singayi lapha ngithi ikhona team yaseBotswana uyazi la. So uvelile uzongibulala manje OT kanoni njani?
Okay.
Uyazi ukuthi team yaseBotswana ikhona izophuma.
Hey guys.
So abayindawo labantu lapha ukuthi ungababali. Uraf lapha.
Okay.
Wathola boyanga bayakhipha. Wena iKristu ne-experience so uyabazi ukuthi banjani.
Ngekele Buya, today we're not the topic today. Let me go to Fanele. Fanele, how do you feel about Pirates' play?
I think he's on a corner.
Yeah, I think maybe he's on a call. Let me go to Tagati. Tagati, What do you feel about how Pirates plays? How do you feel about what you saw on the weekend? And if I was to ask you what you think about the season and what you've seen, what do you think?
Very interesting question. Pirates traditionally the team of football. Hence, they've got a problem when it comes to the league because the way they approach their games, they play very fast. They've
Yeah.
got a tendency of being successful on the cups because when you play the cup games, you need to hit the ground running from the onset. The same reason I think my Sandawana be struggles. The approach of cup games is different to the one of the league.
Yeah, that's true.
And again, I think Pirates chooses games. I don't know if it's the mentality. Like you were saying, on a Tuesday, a boring game against Polokwane or whatever, they can lose that. They can easily. Is one of the teams that are very unreliable. You can never rely on Pirates or take them serious. Certain games, they will really show up. They will really show up, and they are a team of moments, to be quite honest. I make this typical example when they were playing Super Sport. I said, remember last season, at one stage, I think it was when we were going to Christmas around that time, they were neck on neck with Sundowns. I think around that time or after, there was time whereby they had like 4 losses in a row. That's where they lost it. So that's Pirates for you. And then again, towards the end of the season again, now they showed up. They need to plan how to approach games, and they will need to strive to win every game. I think that midfielder operates even Dondlo is there. Even Dondlo is there. Or maybe even Makitlane Makaola. Because now last game I saw him playing on the wing. He wasn't bad, but there wasn't coordination between defense and midfielder than the strikers. So Pirates need to be serious about every game, not select certain games. They can't think when they beat Sundowns or Chiefs, then they have done it. And remember, not to be negative. When it comes to Nedbank, sometimes you meet Dondol FC. At the end of the day, when you will leave the cup, we forgot that you struggle against Dondol. So,
Mara, why are you fighting? Hey, why are you fighting? Hey, man.
They just need to take each and every game serious, man, and then play.
Well, okay.
Yeah,
I think
I'll leave it there.
before I go to Pomoto, I always say that Pirates is an emotional team. And I mean emotional in the sense that if it's not a big moment, it's almost like it's hard for them to get up for that moment. Like I said, when it comes to cup games, the Pirates team that you see in cup games and the Pirates team that you see in the league is two different things. Unless they're playing Chiefs, unless they're playing Sundowns, unless, it's the last 5 games of the season, Stellenbosch, they need to have stakes in order for them to play well. And I think that's what Jose needs to work on, or at the very least needs to get right this season. That guys, you guys are good. I always say Pirates for me is the scariest team in the league. For me, I am more scared of Pirates than I am of Sundowns. Note I said scariest. Note I said scariest, I didn't say best. Right? Pirates on its day can give you a 4-5-6-0 easy. They wouldn't sweat. This Coutinho will be rocking. All the fans will be looking at, it will be the most pressure that you've ever felt as a team. But the issue is that, like I said, they can't do it over and over again. Wednesday, it's a game versus Richards Bay. They're not there anymore. You don't know where they've gone. Players have gone missing. They're not playing to their strengths. But Saturday, derby. 3-2, Kshawa Makol, Gadaliw. But the Sundowns, Kshawa Makol, Gadaliw, where they're playing. Right? Mara, those quiet games are the ones, you only play Sundowns twice. The rest of the time you play everybody else. That's where you need to gather your points. Sundowns gathers its points there with the smaller teams, the games it's meant to win. But you can't go up against Cape Town Spurs and lose, give Cape Town Spurs their first win of the season, and expect maybe to go out and win the league. Mind you, reminder, 23 points. between Sundowns and Pirates this season, how it ended. But anyway, Pumuzo, welcome to the show. How are you?
How are you? I'm fine.
I'm good, Pumuzo. Pumuzo, tell me, what are your thoughts about the game that Pirates played? And then how do you feel about the question we're speaking about now, that Pirates is playing, man? How do you feel about it?
Before I speak, I want to ask you this question.
Yeah.
Who do you think is the striker which is required by Jose Rivero between Mawasa and Makopa? But you will answer me when I'm finished.
Okay.
Oh, in the game against Supersport, we were playing Na and Sesane, which both of them like to build from the back.
Yeah.
So it compromised Bata and Makaula because Makaula is not good when it comes to playing football.
Yeah.
So that if you saw Bata was playing too deep, that was what limited Mufukeng and Tito because they were not receiving enough football. So they really played well in the second half because in fact when they bring in Jamini, they changed the play. They played well because Jamini could control the ball. When he was not there was no control. There was just rushing. So Jose need to take a decision between Bata and Makaula. There should be one who will start on the bench. Then you will have Bata with Jamini or Makaula with Jamini. So that's where I could say they should fix their problem. And they should get a proper right back. Monyane is been his third season, but there's no improvement. In the left back, we are so leggy. We cannot even discuss. So about the league, we need a strong Kaizer Chiefs to compete for the league because we need that Kaizer Chiefs, a Wisa Kaizer Chiefs.
Yeah.
We cannot compete alone. Even if Orlando Pirates can beat Sundowns twice, it's only 6 points. So we need other teams to stand up. Yeah, that's what I can say for now.
Okay.
But answer my question before.
To answer your question, for me, it depends. I would much rather go with Mabasa because he's more mobile, but that works more when if you're playing teams that are playing pound for pound with you, that you can play on transition. So, for example, in the game versus Supersport changed to a back three at some point, and they started getting sloppy in the middle. I think Gavin had made 4 subs or 3 subs at the same time, and it broke down their play. And Pirates started playing because the spaces opened up. I think Mabasa is really good in that type of game. In games where you're going to be facing a low block, you need somebody who's going to be able to take the defenders with him, maybe keep the defenders busy, win balls, and target men. Play it back to Abo Tito, play it back to those guys who are running onto the ball. So that's why Mahopa might be a little bit strong, the way that they play him, go bafana. So to answer your question directly, I prefer Mabasa over Mahopa in terms of the normal Pirates play. I prefer him. I'd much rather have him on the pitch because I think he gels better with those other guys that are busy running around and are mobile. Let me see.
the coach doesn't like the way Mabasa plays. It's just that he is the top goal scorer, so he cannot leave him.
I can when
But
there's
he
somebody
likes
who's the top goal
Mahoka
scorer, you
and-
must play him.
If you can check when Mahoba is on the field, Orlando Pirates create many chances. But when Mabasa is there, they could only create 2 because he does not move around like Mahoba.
Okay.
So they need to
Oh.
fix their department.
For time's sake, I just need to bring it to Belile. Belile Mtakababa, where do you stand on this thing in the how Pirates plays, man? As the Pagane.
Hey, first of all, Stella, uqala ukuthi nisikhuzeleni u-Andre Arendt. Please, sanikhuzeleni yena. Angathi abantu abahlulwa indaba zabo bazosuka into ezingabafuni. Please. Siyabahlonipha. Can they please respect us and respect Jose Rivera? Because I don't believe he would have done that if Pitso was the Pirate coach. I don't tell the player ngaphandle azozenza ayenzayo. Yes, but sometimes ama-team njenge-Pirates that sometimes abokhoza they are compromised because they cannot complain ngoba because of what i-PSL, i-chairman PSL and ezinye izinto sekuvela kuphela thule nje.
Yeah.
And futhi lento bengakayenzi ku-Chiefs ukuba khona. Ngibala ama-team angakayenzi kuye mntwana. So please, coming to the game, you know, if you think about something the whole week ukhuluma about the way you're going to defeat the Pirates, and when the days come, things are not happening according to the way ukhuluma ngakhona, you will get frustration.
Yeah.
They say the same thing Chippa United did last season in that Nedbank Cup. It took the whole week is what must figures he doesn't have the slightest thing or the decision that will be taken by the referee that is against you, you will be frustrated.
Yeah.
So that's what happened in the Super Sport and not Gavin Hunt. And when Gavin Hunt in most cases will try it. When he plays big teams, if he plays against Pirates, plays against Kaizer Chiefs, plays against Sundowns, he always does this, always swearing to the referee, and he thinks he knows it all. That South Africa is the best thing that has ever come out from this country. Sometimes you just need to cool down. Now, as much as people about the people who pick it, they forget to Gavin. I don't know which red card this guy can be told. Since he's younger coach in PSL, so they also need to cool. Okay, me. As I've always said before, he pirated sometimes unnecessary. Coach weight. Coach weight, I don't know, he's a good coach, but at sometimes he fails to plan for Amayamaki. Supersport United in Birmingham style of play, everyone knows it. And by putting in Umonyane, Nosesane, and Mover, that's a suicide on its own. Because I think maybe should have gone for Ted. Then it gives a balance between the air and under. Was Kevin and we knew it was
Move.
Super Sport striker.
Oh, problem.
Topla, yeah, bread. So, and did you see not to the man? And when the game started, the first minute, they make sure they don't give the Pirates the space to start, because if Pirates don't like Sundowns, they always like now to build from the back. But they wanted to make sure that Alkali Polemu, because they pressed Unda. Because I'm a Polamania no Kanawe, and it's the one who will come up with that long ball and the two pass lucky long way. But after actually start to move around and starting the play for them. So that's what the strategy. But thanks to the creativity Gatito on the 16th minute when he started Al Kibela, who is not. As much if he could have scored that goal, it should have been the goal of the tournament. So it happened in that way. So it's Super Sport, we know the strategy. Aerial ball, Topla will flick it, or if you do Sugarman will flick it, it's a goal. So already you are exposed in terms if you're going to come up with short defenders. And we know from last season that Umunyan, he's not good when it comes to defending. He's not good, but on his birthday, he cannot be able to cross the ball. If we understand good, yes, he's not good defending, but show the amount of those chances whereby you move up front, please score at least those ball must score. Our Tolu ends something, then at least to go balance. But in this way, then you invite a good long as told skill, especially since there's rumors you don't know, but we know in terms of defending, Mano Hocho, that's not their strong point. And if you get teams that gonna target that, it becomes a problem for a central defending because once you can get stretched, the likely you go to Motaung CAF and cover that defense. But if in most cases that's we get exposed, especially my side left and right. I mean, I still believe I can still play the left back. As much as it's an old type of a player, they left back. I'm born right Marco of which defend, of which because the amount of which a man cannot put them on the right hand side. No, but they cannot go up front and score. But when it comes to defending and with the substitution that show up, like change the whole composition of the game for a Pirates, which would be a better course.
Very Jose to move this team forward. And Ufilanjani for a season. And now I'm asking you again, Mara.
Sorry about.
No. Go on.
No. I'm looking forward to it. I think we do when I have a good season. As I've said previously, coach one just need to fix his mistakes, especially in preparing for different teams. But when I play different teams, and remember, at the same time, even now, those teams they plan for you. They identify your weak spot and then try to catch you in that. If he's not going to do the same mistake that he has done for the last 2 seasons, playing players on the incorrect position, on the right hand side, yes, one Tatu Mark on the right hand side, of which there was no too much contribution that was being one player Amanyako. I don't mind if because we know the system is he depends on most of the left and right and back players to go forward now and then. But if that thing doesn't work on a day, there's no harm in reverting to the old way back of players. I think if I go ball again, try and defend and a proper defender who will defend that will allow Umbata no Makaula just to move maybe at center. Umbata can go and attack it's better that way, knowing at least at the back you are safe. You won't be leaking goals. But if you still going to be leaking goals and put players not on their best position, then it becomes a problem because you will concede at the end of the day. So it disadvantages you.
Okay. Prasam, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hinda, what do you mean?
Hi, great, Prasam. Prasam, how did you feel about the game? And how do you feel about Pirates' play?
So, going to the game, what I can fix is if I was a coach. Playing a team like Supersport, we know they will play a mid-block. They'll only come out when they are losing. So I don't think we should play to number 6 like Mbatale, Macau. We can play one so that we can have extra power going forward.
Okay.
Because you saw after replacing Macau and Dlamini, so now the sport was under pressure. So we were able to create more chances than the first half when we were doing Macau. Even Mbata was playing better with Lamine than with Macau because now they know Lamine is going to attack, Mbata is going to stay. So if there are two, who's staying, who's going? So there have been sometimes where more Macau like and then they end up not marking both of you. Like the goal, that goal was, we were sleepy. Linda, where I was like, still on my phone. And so that goal just came from nowhere. So as supporters were switched off, together with the players were switched off because of this thing. But then when you have a proper structure, you know, Dlamini, but what space because you know those guys, they always like to move forward.
Yeah. But then can I ask you, Prasep, was this game won by Pirates or was it lost by Supersport? If you get me.
Yeah, no, Supersport there's no quality. Like, I was telling the guys guys, there's no way you can lose this game. There's no quality. Especially the good thing about Supersport, they can defend. But going forward, no. There was only Pulo who was trying. The other players, no.
Okay, so
go on. It's over.
Mara, that's why I want to know, in the league, Supersport locks the door, equal gate. And then this game ends 1-1. How is Pirates going to get over these games that are not cup games where, you know, the other team has to play at some point? But in the league, Kevin Hunt will take 1 point at Orlando Stadium any day.
Yeah, that's the thing. You are right. Very right. Because now, teams like Richards Bay, Marumo Gallants will come for a draw. And then if they get a draw, that's a problem for us. So that's why I was saying, playing teams like that, we don't need 2 number 6. Because you're limited going forward. So even maybe 6 are taking players, or 7 are taking players, it's going to find more chances to score than even those guys who fish. We end up considering a corner or set piece, something like that.
Yeah.
So I think for our technical team, they need to work on that. You know what? We don't have to be scared of those teams because we know they want to attack anyway. So scoring 3 goals than scoring 1 goal is better.
Okay. I'm gonna come back. Black Viper. 2 questions. Utito Tito got onto the ball early. And we were crying about the same thing with Umfundo last week. Can you tell me, what is the difference between what Tito does and what Umfundo does, for example, or what other players have been doing? What makes Tito stand out to the point where he can be one of the star players in the league, number 1? And then number 2, how do you feel about the refs? Black Viper? Okay, let me take it to Ash. Ash, same 2 questions to you. How do you feel about showboating? What does Tito do better than anybody else? And then on the other side, how do you feel about the refs? Oh, is Black Viper with me?
Yeah, I'm with you now.
Okay, Ash, I'll come back.
He can go first.
Yeah, he can go first.
It's fine.
Black Viper?
On Tito, there's a difference between Tito and Vilakazi there. Vilakazi doesn't know how to make people have the courage to take the game.
Okay.
Because now it was early stages in the game and they haven't conceded. So the guys needed a little bit more of encouragement to go on the game and say that, no guys, we're taking this game. We're not gonna bully like this anymore. We're gonna go ahead and attack them the best possible way that we know. Now on Vilakazi's side is that the kid was doing nonsensical nonsense. They were losing the game. He was trying to back up get the flair from the I'm sorry for saying this. He was trying to get the cheers from the fans. How do you even do that? Like, get the flair from the fans when you're already losing. And then there were instances that he was trying to make flair of the ball and then they took it from you and then they score a goal. So you don't do such things on a big games like that.
Okay.
No, the fans are there, the stadium is packed, and then you do that. So no, there's a big difference between him and Tito. Tito gets people up and running.
Mm.
And then on the number two,
On the ref.
Our refs need to be more vigilant.
Okay.
Need to be more vigilant. We can't have this type of games. No, we can't have people always being winning on tactical decisions, getting results based on the referee's downfall. If I remember correctly, some few years ago, there was a game that Sundowns played. That in that time, Pitso Mosimane was the coach, and then he went on to say that I will take this kind of advantage. I am not ashamed.
No, wait. I've got it. Wait.
I benefited and I have no shame.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. For time's sake, let me bring in Ash because I see that our time is a little bit short. Ash, how do you feel about the showboating? What does Tito do that's different, man? What makes Tito's showboating different to anybody else's? Not just in Fundo. I don't want to single out the boy. And then secondly, how do you feel about the refs in this game?
No, okay. I'll be just brief. Thinking, like for Tito doesn't do anything like special. The boy is good as like him showboating, but it's just that like the boy doesn't get maybe like the chance to showboat the way Tito does because Tito showboats maybe I won Pagatiwe Wenkundla and then creates a chance. If you remember, like in front of Vilakazi, when he just showboated about like the knee on the ball, and then he took a cross after that, then if maybe like the big striker for Kaizer Chiefs got to that ball, we could be clapping now, which like the boy is good. So showboating can like build you and break you. But it's up to like the player how you take it and the criticism that comes after it. So even if you can check like Nabi they didn't take out that like left back player, the young boy, even if like he made a mistake. So because if Velam Kipile, it will have like broke his morale going forward. Which like so they have to discipline him well. This you have to do it here, then this you don't have to do it here. But Tito, it's a good player. Then, but in guys, we don't have to like sugarcoat it. Yeah, now but we know.
But can I ask you very quickly? Is it how much of it is the rest of the team? So Utito Magal Shigisha. Saleng starts making a run. You know what I mean? Utito Marshigisha, there's movement around him. It's a team that understands. How much of that plays into whether showboating yako is over successful or not?
It plays a lot because in a debate team, that means like Utito is an anchor. So final clearance side of. They know it's like this person here, if he does this, then we know the pass is going to come. It's either left or right, but we have to make movement. So that's why the debate of Umabasa no Mahopa came in. Who scores what and who has the most like impact performance. So Umakopa, I think like is preferred because like he can do the movement that and follows Tito's like maybe ideas. Okay, if Tito does this, then it's either he's going left or right, and then I have to be on like on the box. So the other team, it's like there's no movement. They are not clicking yet. But let's hope they click so that we don't disadvantage them going like further.
Okay. For time's sake, I'm gonna have to skip the second question, just to
No
bring
problem.
in Pumutso. Pumutso, what makes Tito's showboating effective compared to other people? Number one, and then number two, how do you feel about the refs?
Oh, about Tito's showboating. Tito is like he brings the moral to the team.
Okay.
Like when the fans are down and the players are down, he does his showboating things, and you know there will be a great pass. And it's like a culture at Orlando Pirates. If you remember, when there was Abo Dugu Dugu Makanya,
Yeah.
you see. So that is the culture of Orlando Pirates. We need someone who lift the crowd. It's like Abu Kalini, Abu Rakhela.
Yeah.
The list is endless. So Tito is different to Mufking because I'm sorry about Mufking. Vilakazi Mfundo, he needs to learn that he must not be carried away by the crowd. So he gets carried away in such a way where when he gets every ball, he wants to do showboating, even when it's not necessary. But he's a great player. Let's come to this of referees.
Okay.
In SA, we really need VAR. I don't know what can I say about referees, because every day or every week there is a wrong decision, and those decisions are crucial for the games. And again about Mahopa, I think Mahopa is the best striker in South Africa for the modern type of football.
Okay.
If you can go and check in the whole league, at every team, there's no player like Evidence Mahopa in PSL. I put my money in the block if someone can come with someone which play better than Mahopa. Yeah, I thank you.
Okay. No, thank you, Pumutso. Belile, last week, umfana waligibela bathi, yay, not when you are losing. Yay, not when. Now Mutiti waligibela bathi, yay, getting the crowd on board, getting the team to start. Yini eyenza eyakatito ibe effective?
That's why Vele last week when that topic was discussed, I didn't even come to the panel. I get out and engage one. Kahle ngoba ngiyazi ukuthi uma ngabe i-team idliwa imo iyaphakama. Because if kube sikhuluma lento umfundi ayenze le team beyiwina, ngeke kube ngendlela bengayibona kahle. So but mangabe set situation the team ayidlalayo umfana isimo ekuso manje ezama ukubheka ibuye besizwe enzima, we will understand when people will say that. Yeah. So I get actually issue like because as I would could have said with it sometimes when it doesn't matter how many minutes, but what did you do after maybe that showboating or maybe trying to create a space for yourself. I think that depends with those create a so space. Because in Alba ngibambe ngedolo kwenzeni but eliminate ngadlula ngakho angeke complain. But bangenzeka if iyaluza. But ekuluzeni kwamfuthi phela besicabanga ekuluza ibhola kunokuya ngabantu ngokuhlakanipha mhlawumbe kwedefend likhona kuyimaka lokho. So who are going to give praise to? What was the beautiful tackle made by a defender? Because a defender can still make a beautiful tackle, take that ball away from me. So it depends. Angazi ngayi-entertain kakhulu indaba yokuthi ama-player showboat awenza because ifuna sazi ibhola sidlala kanjalo. Ithi isona trend smash yokuthi mhlambe sesibukela ibhola laphesheya kakhulu sifuna le particular way of playing football. Ngalo feeling out ibhola lidlala kanjani That's why you see off-season tournaments, because those people, abantu bahamba uyobukela leyo. Professionally, even does it better because did you share it's a crowd ivuke kanjani Orlando bakaligibela on that 6-3 kuyi-0-0. And the crowd also playing your home game. You're seeing like 90% of your supporters on that crowd. So, I mean, I'm going to issue, and as long as we were pumping, I'm
So
not
then-
being on a social.
So then ngicela ukubuza Velile, njengoba usho ukuthi ekasi sibuyela lezi zinto and we do all of that stuff. How much does team structure play into this? Because mina ngikhumbula ngisadlala ekasi ngidlala in the center mid. I knew ukuthi I didn't have skill. Mara khona lo skill and my job was to protect him. Right? Or ube mina ophasayo. How much
Only
does
that
structure basically Mara, how much does that play into it? Guti utito makashikisha. The team knows how to respond to ukushikisha kwakhe. Whereas you might find other teams where ngiyalishikisha bangibukele nabo. We're all looking at each other. How much does that play into the effectiveness of Ishopo team?
If mangote utito kakhulu imsebenzela kakhulu because is this type of a player who always avail himself for a ball. Ufuna ibhola lize kuye.
Yeah.
Ufuna ibhola lidlala. So he always go and look for the ball if money is. Akafani neplayer mhlawumbe ezohlala imile belimele ukuthi ibhola bamlethele ama-pass that they start try to do that thing. Bese mangabe uyafeyila then it becomes a hullabaloo. You see now game ye-Chiefs whereby they show him a change room. Abatshele ngaphambi bekani ibhola phansi asidlale ibhola. Like he wants the ball ey'nyaweni zakhe. That's why even Motaung was ukuthi we get frustrated mangabe ibhola singabaphasi lingafiki kubo. Sigcine isikhathi eside. He's that type of player ofuna ibhola zile kuye. Your midfield, your playmaker, we avail himself to make sure that he plays the ball. So but if he's Okasha, like a white player, the disadvantage was most of the white players. Actually, I'm up number of funny ball, and if you go wide, you wait for the post casting ball pass, and then you start doing your tricks. But it becomes a disadvantage because you can lose it too much, also to the line, because I shall keep my ball. Or I'll take a layer pool, I don't do anything. But in most cases, the movements are the same time. If in Logana, if you can lining. But now when you start doing that, you must watch movements of the ball, which is critical in my play. You watch the movement of the ball in my players. That's where you see that okay, now we're starting, and you find Makaula or Mbata now joining in, having to move forward. The movement, they avail themselves for the ball to go forward. Look at that touch, like 5 touch. It was so unfortunate in because the chance of and I question what he has started before, and which has been a great goal. So, but it's unfortunately as an game. So it depends with the injury. You might understand that if you're a playmaker, once you do those things, but uzenza uyaphambili ayikho inkinga.
Okay. For time. Very quickly.
I've got a problem ngamasalafian referees abongile Tom, because when abongile when they mangabe badlala officiate ama-game we-CAF, they have a different mentality as compared to what they are doing here. Here they can give the yellow cards of players bathintana bafuna ukuda nabakhulumi na, but when they judge the CAF game, especially that was done by the one who retired Foto Gomez, they do the same thing. They don't issue cards as they really like they do here at Zanz. So they need to keep that mentality of sustainability. No, you cannot just give. We watch football, we watch England. Have you ever saw how players in England they talk to their referees? Like you could see their faces change, but you never want to refer to keep a card unnecessary. You can't no. They only keep on a card for serious tackle. Yeah, you get a card for who possess like Google Rave, but you get away for a career breaking tackle. Who are told in the card.
nangu munyana ushayo upule ngebhola.
Kodwa ubone mase iqhubeka ivili bagcina babambani ngabe badlalisa.
Okusalayo.
Hayi nani isikhathi nani niyathanda engasi issue ukuthi umbonile maqeda babambela kuye bayahleka
in the eyes of the law, really.
And if you look at the only incident engathi is questionable this Saturday.
Yeah.
Ile first red card leyana sorry ye penalty yokuqala in 40 something minutes. Lokuqala kaMonyane. Yiye ngathi mhlambe ngadebate. The second one, look at the distance and the ball was being cleared by Pirates player going away. That's not a penalty. You don't need to kwenzeka lo. So I don't angasibhedi kangaka ngaleyo ndlela on Saturday abongi.
For time, Prasem. Showboating, Prasem. Showboating, man. Tito, how is it different to showboating? Baba.
Similar stuff, different teammates. Yeah, so if namufike ngasaleng ngadlamini team lembat letito maybe lo truly mungani letito tito anamela bola floor the opponent get reverse by emam there's movements upasa ball wa move and then wa move and then there's a chance created.
Yeah.
It's the same, but then difference the team players now. Or what do they do in front of the
Yeah.
Because Userbo Mart, Userbo Ox, Userbo yeah. So that's the only difference. And then Abu Brachombo no one stress every day, every game. But everyone is Matad.
Yeah. Oh, Prasem.
Yeah.
Okay. Guys, for time's sake, please follow if you have not followed. I don't want to speak too much about referees because I think we go too far either way when we speak about refs. It's either it was really good or it's really bad, or we tend to go to the bad stuff more than anything. For me, the refs' decisions are refs' decisions. You're gonna get caught out at some point, so I don't necessarily put too much emphasis on the ref. In terms of the showboating stuff, I find it very, very interesting, and it goes back to a conversation we had last week about this showboating. I like what Pirates does because Pirates players and the way that they're structured, they understand things. Tito takes the ball from the side, he cuts in, Shai Styla Saki, Saleng is making a diagonal run. Saleng's goal, Mahupa's goal where Saleng went through and then Goss came out. You don't get that type of movement elsewhere, but it's also an understanding of what these things do. I like that for today, this time, we all understand that showboating can ignite a crowd. Sometimes the crowd is dead. And we know go, Scotini more than anything. That crowd needs to be up, man. It needs to be rocking. So Tito understood, man. Malume Kuto was the one who highlighted this. He got on top of the ball and he did his things. And the crowd started going, oh, okay. And they started waking up. But more importantly, it's the structure. I love the structure of it, where Tito gets the ball, he does his thing, he plays his 1-2. They all play it, they knock it, they're all making runs, they all understand where they need to go, how they need to run. Lol Tanda so. It's a big difference between that and the Kaizer Chiefs. I'm not going to get too deep into that. But I think, I don't think there's that much difference with what Tito does and what everybody else does. I think there's just an understanding. And honestly, the reason why I feel like this about Pirates specifically is because of something Jose said in the Carling in the Carling Cup when he was coaching Mfundo, and they asked him about Mfundo, and he said the following. I'm going to paraphrase. Ute, the more I work with my players, he said I can't speak about Mfundo because he's not my player, but the more I work with my players, the more we understand. So I understand they understand what I want from them, and I understand what they're strong at. I may have a lot of things that I want to do, but I also have to realize the culture that I'm walking into in the country and how they play in the country. So I have to accommodate that. And I think Jose is one of the coaches that does a lot of accommodating of players of a certain skill. He creates structures and builds them in such a way that those guys can shine, right? Fukeng, when he shines, he's got support from Tito, who he can play with in that role. Now, when you look at other teams where that structure may not necessarily be there, you'll find Fundo gets the ball on the right-hand side, trap a ball, or however he traps the ball. There's no one close to him. There's no one there. There's no runs being made. And it's not to say that he's perfect, but you have to understand that at least Pirates, man, there's an understanding between those players. But I don't want to go too long. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. The show is on every Monday to Thursday at 7 p.m. If you've missed anything, they are available in full on YouTube. You can watch every episode in full on YouTube. Please also support the content. I have a video out on YouTube speaking about how much it actually costs to run a PSL team. So please go out and check out that video. It's very good. I believe Ulindo is going to start his show now, if I'm not mistaken. Ulindo Pep. So also check that out. He's got a foundation. So go to Lindo Pep's profile. He's got information about his foundation. They're trying to get soccer boots, clothes, anything that you can give to families that side. He wants to do something there in Soweto, Kwako Soweto, so Orlando East. So he go to his profile, go there, and he's got more information. So please support our technocrats as well. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll see you then tomorrow, 7 p.m., where we're going to carry on speaking about this football that we love. Tomorrow, we're going to be ranking the PSL coaches. So I want to know the top 10 coaches in the league right now, according to you guys, going into the season, not necessarily from all of their history. Top 10 coaches tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Bye, guys.